Gravity Falls Season 1, Land Before Swine. Which is actually a reference that makes sense in the context of this episode, for once. The episode opens on the worst cops ever having a date on the clock, and therefore completely missing a car that speeds by at 99 miles per hour, but they get their comeuppance when some strange flying creature swoops down and takes the top off of their cop car that they don't really mind because, as they put it, now they have a convertible. We jump to, I assume, the next day, and we get to see, just to reinforce how adorable it is, Mabel and Waddles hanging out with each other, leading to the setup for our first conflict in this episode. Stan doesn't particularly like Waddles. He thinks Waddles should be kept outside because Waddles is a pig. And not like one of those breeds of pigs that are bred to be house pets, but an actual farm pig. So I actually kind of understand where he's coming from in this instance. So when Mabel leaves for a while, entrusting Stan to watch Waddles, because, of course, he doesn't like Waddles, but he does like her, so he'll help her. He gets frustrated when Waddles destroys one of his attractions at the Mystery Shack and puts Waddles outside. Meanwhile, people in town have been talking about the mysterious flying creature, so Dipper and Seuss have been working together to try to get a picture of it, but Seuss accidentally ruins the picture of the creature's full body. When he opens the door to Dipper's dark room, I guess Dipper now has a dark room, so Dipper is upset with Seuss, and this is where the two plots converge. Just as Stan puts Waddles out, the flying creature swoops down and grabs him up. Mabel finds out that Waddles has been taken. Stan lies to her and says that the creature actually came into the house to get him, and Stan tried to fight it off. And the entire group, all four of them, decides to go after the creature. They're able to follow its trail. Dipper doesn't want Seuss to go because he does mess stuff up. He is an irresponsible klutz of a person. But Seuss just cares so much about his friendship with Dipper that Dipper can't bring himself to say anything. They follow the creature's trail. They follow it into the abandoned mines under the town, where they discover there's a whole bunch of prehistoric creatures being preserved in sap. They confront the creature. They get Waddles back. Stan learns to appreciate Waddles. Dipper and Seuss come to terms. Old Man McGucket gets eaten by a pterodactyl. Happy endings all around. I'm sorry, I was kidding about that last one. I actually like McGucket. He's pretty cool. This is another great example of the show taking its formula and doing something really interesting with it, though this time it wasn't so much a shake-up of the formula, it was more of a fake-out using their formula. The episode started out feeling like it was going to be really typical, with an A plot centered on Dipper and a B plot centered on Mabel, or vice versa. It's always hard to tell in the beginning of the episode. But the circumstances felt different. It felt like the characters were actually grating on each other this time, which doesn't happen very often. Then Stan royally screwed up, and the two plots converged, and he lied to Mabel about it, which, yeah, he lies a lot, but usually not to them. And that's when I realized that this episode is going to be something special. I've complained a lot about how selfish Stan is. Yes, I'm coming to like him better. I do enjoy his antics more than I used to, but he's still a scoundrel. And not like in the Jack Sparrow lovable scoundrel kind of way. When Stan is at his scoundreliest, he's really unlikable. I've also complained a lot about how Seuss can't seem to take things seriously, and he gets in the way more than he helps. And so when they're down in the mines and Mabel overhears Stan accidentally admit that he put Waddles outside, and Mabel reacts accordingly. She reacts in an entirely understandable way, refusing to speak with him and treating him as if he has caused her harm, because he has. It was cool to see Stan actually upset with himself, actually feeling guilty over his actions. Mabel said that Stan does care about her, and she was right. He has this little monologue later in the episode where he's trying to let the pterodactyl take Waddles so he can escape from it at one point, and he realizes if he does that, Mabel will never speak with him again, and that he won't get to hear her tell jokes, and she won't get to make him laugh anymore, and he'll miss that, and he has a transformative moment. This time he does fight off the pterodactyl to save Waddles. It was fantastic, and while it wasn't addressed as comprehensively, we did have Seuss admit that he knows that he's a klutz that gets in the way sometimes. He knows that he causes problems. And while he doesn't come out and say it, you do get the sense that he's going to try harder by the time this episode ends. It was so great to see the show address some of the problems I've had with it, which leads me to believe that these are problems that they wrote into the show so they could solve them and progress the characters, which is fantastic. That's what I was hoping. I do have a slight problem with the whole dinosaur and mine thing. First of all, there wouldn't have been a mine in prehistoric times for them to wander into. Second of all, there wouldn't have been trees with that particular kind of sap right above them to trap them in the sap 65 million years ago. Third of all, there is no reason why the sap would only now be melting. It's not like there haven't been hot summers before. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter. The dinosaur and the whole Waddles thing, it was only a means to an end. It was only an avenue to bring these conflicts to light and then bring everything together in such a way that those conflicts were addressed and people started moving forward from them. The fact that it used dinosaurs was entirely incidental. I did find it interesting that once they followed the pterodactyl's trail, they found McGucket there. This is far from the first time he's been seemingly linked with a strange event or the location of a strange event. I'm really looking forward to seeing exactly why that is, assuming that it's not just a joke that the writers are throwing in there to red herring us. All in all, a great episode of this show that, like so many episodes before it, has really gone out of its way to showcase exactly what this show's format can be good for. As per usual though, guys, what did you think of this episode? If you have seen it, let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below. Either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.
Oh,